Hey yo, welcome back to episode 3 for What a Tatsumi with Sub-Zero. Yeah, recording this at around 11:57, probably around 12. Not really sure. Yeah. Anyway, figured I'd bring y'all another one since I'm in quarantine. Yes, I am. I got put in quarantine because some guy in my school that I sit next to apparently got COVID. So yeah, now I'm chilling at my house for the next 10 to 14 days. Can't go outside because, yay. That's about what I'm dealing with right now. So, I'm gonna try to get y'all a video every day. You know, yeah. Actually, did I post today? Did I? I didn't. Oh shit, I'm sorry. Fuck. Well, from today on, I just forgot today, my bad. Yeah, because I was gonna record last night. Also, a guy on Discord named Gray got me this thumbnail. Yeah, talked to me in the comments section of one of my vids. Offered to do me a thumbnail. I accepted, because why not? And he made me this. So, shout out to you, my guy. Now, yeah. Let's get into it. So, we left off with Tatsumi and Death cuddling in the beds. Yes. And as Death just learned about the Royal Imperial Arms. And yes. Okay, so I'm gonna go a little more in depth into the system, like Royal. Yeah. So there are the Imperial Arms, which are a level down from Royal Arms. Royal Arms are one step down from the highest level, which is an Emperor Arm. And alright, so there's Emperor, which is a class above King. I guess is the word emperismal, I guess. Okay, so there's Imperial, King, and Emperor. The Imperial arms are above artifacts, and they can evolve over time depending on how old they are and how much power their user has. So Tatsume got started with the Ice King Imperial arms. I'm calling it Ice King Imperial arms because Imperial arms are what they call them in the show. So just know that Sub-Zero is a king level arm right now. So is Scorpion, which is the Nether King, and so is the Shadow King, and so is the Imperial King, which is that giant mecha fucking thing Tatsume had to go gold in Curcio to take down. So, for instance, when Tatsume shifted from gray to gold in Curcio with the wings, he became a king level Imperial Arms. So he was able to fight back against the king who held a royal Imperial Arms. See what I'm getting at? Yeah, so. And yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. So it's really hard to fight somebody who's on, like, a different level playing field, like a class up. And if they're 2 classes up, you have 0 chance. Even if you have 100 users of different shit, even if it's an exact counter, there's no chance of beating someone 2 levels above you. So yeah, I just figured I'd go into that way you guys knew more. So let's get into it. Yeah. So that day, after Tatsume got up, he woke up as Death and told her about the night raid incident. And he didn't mention the fact that night raid put her on a hit list. So yeah. So as Death says, I don't advise you taking the side of those assassins. It's a dog-eat-dog world out there. You should know better than anyone. You were a gladiator for 2 years. Tatsume replies with, I understand that, but I only did that because I was fighting for people who couldn't fight for themselves. I was thrown into that ring out of necessity, and I couldn't go against that. I could have easily killed everyone in there, because they were weaker than me. but I didn't. I could have killed this nation. I have the power to bring about the end of man. And the only people who could there's only 3 people that could stop me, or come close. And yeah, I'm sorry I paused for a long second. I was thinking about whether or not I should change it or edit something in that. So Tatsume's like, being the strongest and wiping out the ones weaker than you just means that there will only ever be one. In the end, there will only be one. There would be no such thing as a system because there would be a single entity reigning above the rest, the strongest. The strongest should rule can apply, but if you're wiping out your citizens, you should be purged in their place. So, I ask you, when is the line drawn? As Death replies with, even so, if they cannot fend for themselves, what are their uses? If they want a revolution, fight back. Become stronger. Tatsume looks at her and says, strength is an object. Those who wield it grow colder-hearted, and cruel, and that is their fate. Those who accept that may gain warmth, but those who deny the truth will inevitably freeze. How do you think I've lived so long, killing people who are probably innocent? It's just what it comes down to. As Death thinks about this and reflects on it, as Tatsume leaves to go report. So, Tatsume walking through the castle with his hood and mask, and he activates the eyes, that way people can't. There are no noticeable features that they can identify him from his actual in-person self. He goes into the Emperor, not the, he walks into the Emperor's Badada place, and the Emperor, being a Royal Imperial Arms user, because he can activate the fucking King Arms. So they have a little chat, and they talk about how Tatsume is technically eligible for the throne, and the minister's just sitting there like, have they not noticed me? Because he's standing right next to the fucking king, the Emperor. Because all kings know this, it's something that comes along with their gear. Like, when it hits, they become eligible for any throne, as long as it's sat upon by a user of a king's arm. So, and then he says, and then fucking Tatsume's like, alright, now that chat's over, because they finished the conversation, the minister, I have some news. You may speak, he says. Night Raid offered me a position, and you're on their hit list. What? Yeah, so like a day or two ago, yeah, Night Raid, like, came to talk to me or assassinate me, I couldn't really tell. But they offered me a position in Night Raid. I refused, naturally, and they attempted to kill me. I had pretty much all of them at the end of my sword, and then I told them I would consider joining, but they had to take as death off their hit list. Minister's just standing here like, so you're putting in your resignation and joining an assassination group is what you're telling me? Minister says, and then fucking Tatsumi says, "Oh no, I figured I'd report that I am an inside man for Night Raid, in that I have information or can gain information on them." And yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. Also, I secured that they would not harm Esdeath under any circumstances, or else I'd kill all of them. I'm just here to, deliver the same message to you guys. And then he says, he didn't say, he more like, what's the word? He takes off his mask and exhales. Frost starts, pulling out, like, covering the walls, and the door kind of freezes over. And he just walks over to the minister. He looks at him dead in the eye and says, "Hear me. If a hair on my woman's head is touched, you die. The kingdom you rule dies. And you won't be able to stop me." So then he just, inhales and puts his mask back on. And he says, "Glad we could have this conversation." He walks out of the door, which is now thawed. And the Emperor says, with white eyes, "That man is a calamity. We need one of our own. We need one of our own." Minister looks at the fucking guy and at the small child speaking with white eyes, and he's like, "Fuck did I get myself into? Fucking Tatsume's a prince. This guy got white eyes now. I don't even know where I fit in this fucking empire." And he's just like, "Oh, da, 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 da." And then he thinks, "I need someone of equal power to stop this man, or else I am fucked." So basically, the fucking minister's freaking out, and then he thinks, "Oh, I guess I can call him that favor now." So, the emperor then not the emperor, but the minister meets with the Shadow King. So, the Shadow King walks out of a portal in the minister's chambers and says, "You called? Ah, Cybot. I'm glad you could come. I need you to detain someone for, I guess you could say, I need them detained as collateral." He says, "Ooh, a kidnapping. Who do you want, sir? You know I won't go near Night Raid. They may be low level compared to me, but they're still a crafty bunch." He says, "Nothing like that. I want you to capture and detain Esdeath. She has some leverage with a certain combatant, and we need her, or else we may be fucked." He said, "Ooh, I know this is a favor and all, but you're gonna owe me after this." He walks out of the portal, and about 20 minutes later, he comes back with a beaten and bruised Esdeath, with her hands like in a portal, and so are her feet, and she's just hovering there. "Here you are. The portals will last until I deactivate them. She won't be able to use her Imperial arms either." Currently, she's unconscious. "Why did you need this again?" Minister says, "That's something you'll figure out later. Anyway, thanks for the help, Cybot. It's been a pleasure. As usual. Your pay will be in the same spot." Much obliged." He falls through a portal, and yeah. Currently, Sub-Zero was, aka Tatsumi, was out on a mission. And technically, he was out assassinating the minister's relative. Yes. With Night Raid. And he was just fucking freezing everybody that was coming after mine while they were doing this. Mine was like, Pumpkin's fully charged right now. Should I be next to this man? Because her Imperial Arms charges with the more danger she's in. Pumpkin was at max charge being next to him. Just pointing that out, so. Like, Pumpkin couldn't go up any. It was just sitting there. Like, if she shot a mountain, there'd be a hole in it for, like, through the mountain. So, yeah. So, pretty much, Tatsume, as he's escorting mine back, there's a portal that opens up, and it's a fire portal, it's a ring, and Scorpion, aka the Nether King, pops out. Like, jumps up, and mine's like, the fuck just happened? Scorpion shoots his, kunai at mine, and Tatsume shoves his hand over her shoulder and opens up, like, an ice barrier and blocks it. He says, mine, keep running. If any guards catch up with you, break this. Throws a little crystal, and yeah. So, as she runs off, Scorpion just lets her, and he says, as they're walking in circles, he said, Scorpion and Tatsumi get in conversation. So, it was a dirty trick you pulled back in the dungeon, ruin, making it literally unbreathable for anybody but you. Shady move, King. Tatsumi says, you're the one that gave me that nasty burn, weren't you? Well, I hope this time you get frostbite. They charge at each other. Tatsume goes in for, like, fucking a couple jabs with his knuckles being frozen over. Scorpion dodges most of them, but fucking as Scorpion, like, fucking punches him, he pulls a fucking freeze layer, jumps backwards and leaves, like, a silhouette or after image of himself made of ice. Sub-Zero punches that, and the ice, like, slows him down by covering him. And then Tatsumi jumps forward. Yeah, Tatsumi jumps forward, grabs his neck, and fucking just lets out max freeze, and just, yeah, it just has holding him up in the air and just lets out all, like, near max of what he can do right now. Like, it's not enough. It's like, let's say that the tree that was getting some of the afterburn from the ice beam. Let's say, like, the trees were getting covered in, like, the leaves were getting covered in ice. So after that, he, like, lets go of him and he does a roundhouse kick to his chest and sends him flying into a tree. Scorpion, cracked his neck and breaks the ice off of it. And then he says, "Wretch, when will you let your king show? You're not strong enough to take me on. This vessel's already succumbed to my power. Soon you will, too. Sub-Zero isn't a toy. Eventually that vessel will be his. So give up now and enjoy the show as I kill you." Because right now Scorpion's like fighting a child. When's he coming out? Tatsumi says, "Okay then. You wanna see fucking what a vessel can do?" And then one of his eyes goes Snow White, and he just fucking, you know how like you throw your hand forward to get water off of it? He does that, but straight down, and like an ice sword appears where his hand is. And then he runs towards Scorpion and slashes down on it towards his shoulder. Scorpion like stops the blade with his hands and then snaps it. But then Sub-Zero fucking headbutts him and fractures his skull. Not Sub-Zero's skull, Scorpion's skull. But doesn't stop there. Fucking Sub-Zero then knees him in the chest, breaking a couple of ribs. And then, yeah. And then he backs away, unfreezes his arm, and uses an ice ball and freezes him. Scorpion then says, "Enough." He shatters the ice, uses a fire teleport, and sends Tatsume flying through 3 trees. And then he says, "Even half of a king isn't enough to match one. Stop resisting and let him take over." And the Ice King legit just says, Tatsume, "You're either gonna let me take over for 5 minutes so I can beat the brakes off this clown, or you're going to die here." He says, "Fine, 5 minutes." Tatsume lets go, and Ice King time. Ice King pulls himself out of the fucking tree and walks towards fucking Scorpion. Mind you, as he's walking, legit, the half of the forest he's on is covered in ice. Like, yeah. He says, "Scorpion, your favorite king is back. You ready to bow your head?" Scorpion says, "Finally! It's time to run. It's time to go." So, Scorpion basically runs towards Sub-Zero and they pull a Sasuke-Naruto clash. But as this happens, Sub-Zero, not Sub-Zero, but Scorpion's arm gets a little ice on it. And yeah, so basically they pull out some hand-to-hand combat for like for the next 3 minutes. They're going hand-to-hand combat. And every time Sub-Zero or lands a blow on Scorpion, he gets a patch of ice on him. But every time Scorpion lands a punch on Sub-Zero, his knuckles get a little ice on them. So eventually, Scorpion's muscles tissue is frozen from the inside, and his vessel's starting to break. And then Sub-Zero says, "Your vessel's broken. Though that muscle tissue won't repair. I made sure of it. And I'm not going to give you the delight of killing it so you can get a new one. I know what you do down there in the nether realm. Uncivilized swine. You're gonna have to live with this broken vessel, and I'll make sure of that. Let's say He then kicks Scorpion's knee and just like gives him a handicap. Sub-Zero says, "I was always the strongest king, and it won't change now or ever." He then kicks him in the face, making him black out. And then Tatsumi takes over, and he is fatigued as fuck because he has burn wounds that are still sizzling, and he has to legit nearly cryostasis half of him because they're legit like 5th degree burns, like 99 degree. I don't even know. I don't know how the burn degrees work, but let's say they're like his like skin, bad, bad. Yeah. Anyway, after fucking nearly brutality on Scorpion, fucking Sub-Zero walks away. And then he teleports through ice on the ground, like he falls through. He appears in Death's room and in the bathroom as he sits down, and he falls over. He takes off his battle armor and his mask and his hood, and it's bad. I mean, he took a lot of damage in that fight. He has broken bones. He has fucking like 3 fractured ribs. And he's just sitting there using ice to try to heal the wounds for now. Because he can do that, yes, because his body has been, like, ice gives him certain healing properties. I'm making this shit up as I go, but ice has a lot of positive effects on him. Fire is his immediate counter. So basically, he's healing himself up. When he walks out of the room, it says and yells, "Esdeath, you here, hon?" No response. So he assumes that she's out or on a mission. Meanwhile, in the minister's quarters, Esdeath is getting, I guess torture would be the word. Because, yeah. So basically, one of the guards is just sitting there punching Esdeath repeatedly in the stomach while she's conscious. And every time she falls unconscious, they stop, let her body heal. And so pretty much every time she's conscious, it's a living hell. But Tatsume doesn't know this, because Tatsume can't... Yeah. So I said she yelled out, right? Yeah, Tatsume yelled out for Esdeath, and yeah. Alright, so Tatsume then, walks out and sees that there's fucking ice through the entire room. Which he didn't notice because it's just usually that cold. And then he finds a, teared piece of black clothing. And and then the Ice King thanks Saibot. Which is the Shadow King. So, the Ice King would know. Things have a way of working out, and their original names end up becoming their, known names. So, Sub-Zero was the name of the first Ice King. Noob Saibot was the name of the first Shadow King. I don't know the name of the Emperor because I don't care that much. And Scorpion was the name of the first Nether King. So yeah, yeah. So, Ice King kind of informs Tatsumi that the Shadow King took her. And then he fucking thinks, that piece of shit. Tatsume fucking puts his hood on and his clothes, and then he fucking bursts out the door, throwing them off the hinges with ice coming out. And the guards at the door were like, the fuck just happened? He walks past them, the fucking hallway's freezing as he does it. And he's enraged right now. Like, he could legit kill half the people who's walking by right now. From contact. Just on contact. He walks into the fucking Emperor's office and he's like, alright. So, you kidnap my girl after I flat out tell you I will kill you if you touch her. What was your thinking process? Huh? Yeah, he's yelling at the Emperor right now, and the Emperor's just, I have no idea what you're talking about. Last time I checked, General Esdeath was staying in her quarters. And if she wasn't, she was in town. I'm not her babysitter. And right now it's the Imperial King talking. Sub-Zero says, you wanna bet? Like, with a deep voice that's not his. The minister just looks over like, please don't let him know it's me. Please don't let him know it's me. He then looks over at the minister and says, and you. If I find out you are connected to this, I will break every bone in your body before killing you. So, yeah, pretty much. Where Esdeath is currently is being supposedly beaten into submission by said minister guys. So, yeah. They're trying to break Esdeath so they can control Sub-Zero. Yep. So, yeah, so basically, right now, let's say Tatsumi walks over the minister and grabs him by the neck and holds him up and says, I'm not afraid to wipe out this entire capital over my girl. Even if I begin to suspect you, I will kill you on the spot. And I already suspect you. So how does that make you look? Here, how about this? If you tell me where she is immediately, I'll only kill half the men on the way. And this is the only chance you'll get. He then says, dungeon, 3rd level. He drops the minister and says, you're lucky you got this chance. And then on the way, he kills about 50 of the guards he comes across. And he definitely kills the guy punching Esdeath. He then picks up Esdeath and Icy teleports to where? Let's say Icy teleports to his village. Like the old village. Alright, so yeah. Yeah, she teleports to the old village where he used to live with his friends. So yeah. Basically, he goes into his old house, sets Esdeath down, and begins healing her. Because her ice ability has a similar, if not as effective, method to his. They stay there for about a month, and she recovers well. When she wakes up, first thing Tatsumi asks is, do you want me to wipe them out for you? Because I gladly will. Esdeath says, no, not right now. You have bigger problems to worry about. The Shadow King is working with the minister. Yeah, so he's like, I just killed the Nether King. I just disabled the Nether King. You're telling me I have to, damn it. Alright. Just glad you're okay. As Death says, it wasn't a picnic, but I got through. Yeah, well, at least, and then kisses. Tatsumi kisses as Death. And, yep, hanky panky, and you turn it all around. That's what I'm talking about. And, yeah. So basically, they do the hanky panky in the Nissan Sentra. So, yeah. They have Shreks. And as Death is fucking flat out in love with this man now. Yep. Oh, God. And then she says, what's your opinion on me joining Night Raid? He says, they're strong Imperial arms users. If it's what you want to do, I recommend it. And I can put in a decent word for you. And this just means I can completely merge with the Empire. I mean, Emperor. I mean, Minister. As this is looking at him like, he doesn't want to commit mass genocide or anything over me. And she's just like, in her head, she's like, okay, so he wants to commit mass genocide over for me. Yeah, I'm in love with this guy. I'm in love with this man. Yeah, so, yeah. Anyway, backstory time. Noob Cybot. Alright, so I'm gonna give you some information on how the Nether King and the Shadow King are made. So basically, the Shadow King. When you have to be in the deepest and most desperate time of your life, to where you nearly die of shock, and you give up on life. That is when the Shadow King can inherit your body. Or you can steal it from the Shadow King. You can steal his power. But that goes for any of the kings. You can absorb them. Just like a tatsumi absorb the dead king's crown. So you can either find them, or you can be inherited by them. Like the Ice King, you would have to die in the dead of winter and be buried under snow. You'd have to have a deep connection to the cold during your death for him to inherit your body. But Tatsume found the corpse in the crown, so he got that. The Nether King takes souls of the damned bodies in the Nether, or Nether realm, and he brings them back up and inherits their bodies. So, yeah, the Nether King can pretty much instantly reincarnate. So you have to immediately take his crown off his body. Unlike the Ice King. And the Imperial King is passed on through bloodline. So they're pretty much all different, except for the fact that you can take the crown. Yeah, so that's how that works. So Esdeath joins Night Raid so that she has a bit more protection for reasons you'll figure out next episode. And Tatsume disappears from the Empire and is currently living at the Night Raid base with Night Raid. but so is Esdeath. So they're pretty much both part of Night right now because the Empire kind of fucked up because they thought they could, control Sub-Zero. So yeah. Meanwhile, Noob Saibot comes across Scorpion. And as he does, he takes a Shadow Scythe and plants it into his head. But instead of taking his crown, he leaves. And leaves it there. And the person who stumbles upon it is a girl running from her captors in chains. You'll figure out more about this girl next episode. But basically, she inherits the power of Scorpion and kills the people who are chasing her. But Scorpion can't get her to submit. Alright, and that's where I'm going to leave that. Now, Noob Saibot's end. He's smiling on his ass off. Because Noob Saibot's case is rare for his specific king. Because his king still has consciousness, like the original body. It was in its most desperate part of life, but it didn't necessarily give up. So Noob Saibot accidentally inherited it and gave his power to a person. He didn't mean to. So yeah, that's what's going on right now. Yeah. And by the way, usually a king can match a king, but depending on how new a king is, will depend. Yeah. So like, Tatsume's been the king the king of Ice, or Sub-Zero, for around 6 years now. But he's been an adult, and he's been able to, he's fully developed. He's able to merge with the Ice King for a small amount of time. The Imperial King is too young. He can't handle being the Imperial King for too long. Scorpion's new vessel is brand new, so it won't be as strong. Noob Saibot is question mark. Yes. Anyway, that's all I'm gonna bring y'all for today. I hope y'all enjoyed this one. If you liked the video, leave a like. If you got some criticism for me or just want to say thank you or you're doing good, leave a comment. And oh yeah, Boku wa Tobi, if you're watching this video, you're a dickhead. Yeah, you heard me. Yeah. JK. Haha, big noob. Yeah. I'm talking to one of my Discord friends. If he's watching this, comment, because I want to know. Yes. Anyway, yeah. And if you like this video enough, consider subscribing. Yeah, pretty much. I've been the dual-wielding demon. You are the Legion. We are ASMA. It's good being with y'all. Peace out, y'all. I say y'all too much, right?